What's up, everybody? I hope you're all doing well. So today's Paaj Lug is rather interesting, and I'm just gonna let it speak for itself. The Paaj Lug for today is kho guo dai mo guo, kho guo dai mo guo. In translation into English, kho guo is your butthole. Dai mo guo means in between, there's still residue. So kho guo dai mo guo translates into saying the butthole has residue. So this Paaj Lug was created on the idea that you didn't spend too much time, you were in a rush, and there's still residue left. Get tight out that you mang no ke you shot you who no ke in your plow you want to ta ke you not you lo te tampe ta can you lo no ke you gotta be santa janji you like yeah. And so now that you've come to the realization of your mishap, even though people are having conversations, they're talking about stepping on dog poop and there's this foul smell, they may not be necessarily talking about you, but because you know that there's something that you've done related to their topic of conversation, you start to feel insecure and self-conscious because you're thinking that they may be indirectly talking about you. This Paaj Lug goes beyond just talking about poop. Another example is in committed relationships. So one partner goes out with friends and accidentally engages in an activity that would otherwise jeopardize the relationship. Subsequently, what dawns on that person is that guilty conscience. This feeling of guilt and fear about how their partner would react when they eventually find out. Now, if you were the partner, here are some signs that this person may be guilty or they have a guilty conscience sitting on their shoulders. Number one, they play the blame game. They'll make a big deal out of the smallest and littlest things, especially if it relates directly to what they have done. They'll make a big deal out of it. They'll make people's behavior look bad and start projecting their feelings on that person. So they blame that person for doing these bad behaviors. Number two, the averted gaze or reduced eye contact. Now, I'm sure everybody has done something like this before. Maybe even in class. You're sitting in class, your stomach is rumbling, and you want to pass gas. Your initial plan was to let out a nice and silent one, but you end up conducting an orchestra in class and everybody hears it. And so what you do immediately is you put your head down and you pretend to read. You got homies next to you and they'd be like, man, I knew that was you. I knew that was you. Number three, complete avoidance. Because the person feels guilty about what they have done, they would much rather avoid having any conversations or avoid any interactions with their partner. Because avoidance is much easier than confronting the problem. Number four, anxiety. When they avoid their partner, they start to worry that their partner will find out through conversations or social media, etc. And their preoccupation about getting caught heightens their anxiety, which leads them to even perhaps beginning to, number five, lie. They start to lie about anything and everything, even to the point where stories don't make sense anymore. Like, honey, where are my keys? I don't know, I ate them. So what can we take away from this Paaj Lug, and what does this Paaj Lug teach us? It is essentially implying that if we commit a crime or some act of transgression, our confidence is weakened because internally we know that we are guilty. We have this guilty conscience sitting in us. 給咗個 example， 不當我下個要，我談不到烏談不白的，不你冇住啊，我out咧你拿住，我呢不再扣了，要加了臭的，真就不談就有了不要。Because you know there's something that you've done that relates to exactly what they're talking about. So what can we do to help ourselves if we are having this guilty conscience? Well, if others begin to notice the smell and all signs point to you, the best thing to do is just own it. Don't even, no, just own it and accept it for what it is, because it is what it is. And you can get over it quickly and move on with your life instead of coming up with lies and blaming other people and becoming a person that you are not. Because a guilty conscience can overtake a person easily. And if you don't like this guilty conscience or this feeling of guilt and fear and whatnot, here's what I would recommend. I would encourage you to spend a little bit more time and just put a little bit more effort before leaving the toilet. In other words, don't even do it. If you know your actions are going to have consequences, don't even do it. If you're thinking about a little white lie, telling your wife that you're going to come home, honey, I'm going to stop by the bank, but really you're going to stop by the fishing bank to throw a few cats, don't even do it. Because when you get home, you're gonna fear that your wife is gonna find out, and of course, you have this guilty conscience that sits on your shoulders. Don't even do it. Spend some time, do not be impulsive. Think about your actions before you do it, so that you don't have to feel a sense of guilt, a sense of insecurity, whatever it is that you're feeling. Just don't even do it at all. Because you know it's not you, and you know you're not guilty, which is a better feeling. That way you'll have no worries later on. I hope that makes sense. Until next time, take care, be well. Peace out.